So it's a very bright and breezy day, beginning of April, and what we're trying to do is seed our wildflowers over this field, which is called mortar pit. Now, the idea was we need to start early in the morning so that the wind doesn't pick up, because if the wind picks up, it'll then push the seed all over the place. Now, we've got a set of grass harrows on the back, and we're in a little Polaris, just trying to put it along. But it is quite a challenge. The wind is getting up, and of course you can't see the grass seed. We've got fescues in there, we've got all sorts of a wonderful mix, and it's going to make a great pollen and nectar field, a super habitat for all our insects. And of course the things that feed on the insects, the birds, they're going to love it too. You can see there all the seed being distributed out of the spreader. That looks lovely. Now what we're going to need is a bit of moisture. So there's our mix. Look at that, lovely seed. Obviously a mixture of the wildflowers that we're after and grass seed. So look at that, that is very, very dry, really dry, and it's about -1 this morning. So I'm hoping that when we've got our seed on, our rolls are going to crush all that nice and flat to keep the moisture in, which is absolutely critical. And then I know that for the weekend it looks wet, and next week is wet too. So hopefully that will mean that our seeds will start to chit. But before establishing any crop, whether it's a cereal crop or whether it's this, we need to get rid of the weeds. And this is groundsel. And actually it's pretty good for birds to nibble. It produces seeds and all sorts of goodies. So ordinarily I would leave this in the field so that those birds can make use of it. But when I'm trying to establish this new and quite expensive crop, I want to make sure there's absolutely no competition. So a couple of days ago, we whizzed over this and gave it a dose. So hopefully that will knock it down a bit. But if it then does reappear in years to come, then I think it's only going to add to what we've already got. What's really important is the speed at which this is driven. We've calibrated it so that we know exactly how much seed is coming out of the hopper. But in order to do that, we've got to continue at the same quite dramatic speed over this bumpy ground. Well, the wind is picking up, but I just wanted to remind you of why I'm so excited about today, because this is the very beginning of our rewilding process. We farmed this area of Arnhem now for 100 years, but it's become very clear to me that it's really very difficult to make a profit farming. And if you're going to struggle to do that, then really maybe we should be looking at a different kind of thing. We ought to be trying to preserve our wildlife, our bird life, and our insects, and trying to hold on to that magical environment for our children. But that, of course, means that we need key habitats in order for that to be a success. And this pretty little spot, this field, it's called Mortar Pit. It's surrounded by wonderful hedges, hawthorn, blackthorn, grassy areas here. And we've got a super stream that comes the whole way around, and it collects all the water from the estate and pushes it down. So if I can create some leaky dams here, then it's only going to help create a wonderful watery environment. And for as long as I can remember, this permanent pasture behind me has always been like this, for 50 odd years or longer. And it's where the old mortar pits used to be, so it's difficult to farm. But the key thing is that I've tried really hard to farm this successfully. We've kept our ditches clean, we've kept our fields weed free, but increasingly it is more and more difficult to make money farming in this way. The cost of chemicals is going up. The cost of our grain that we're producing is coming down on a world market. So I've been thinking, let's do something different. Let's do something that's lasting, that's going to have a major impact. And this is going to have a major impact on wildlife. It's hard to imagine that we've got so many different habitats in this one area, and it's nice and sheltered down here. We've got ants' nests, and this is going to be another key ingredient to our rewilding of this site. Part of it is the rich mosaic that we're after, and with woodland and ditches and permanent pasture, and of course our wildflower mix that we're drilling today, that hopefully is going to mean that it will work for the future. Thank you for watching The Newbie Farmer on my new adventure. Please stay tuned, and I'll show you what happens in a month's time.